told you.
I'm glad you came back. Hey, today we're making this Schweinshaxe, right? So what that is basically a German crispy, right, roast pork knuckle. Now, you could use pork shake. You can use what we like to use here, or what we use a lot here in the States. Not so much the knuckle, but it's a ham hock, right? Pretty much the same thing. It'll work for you too. Now, you'll see how I put this together. I hope you enjoy it. We're rounding off Oktoberfest. So this will actually be the last video that I put out for Oktoberfest. I know I didn't get too crazy with Oktoberfest. Yeah, I apologize for that. But this, I know you'll enjoy. Save the best for last. This is what we're working with. Oh yeah, look at that. Beer gravy, yes. I know you, if you make this, you're going to enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Hey, look what I do. Hey, this is Shrashira. That's the best elevator music I ever heard. Okay, so what we're going to need for day one, we're going to need some cumin. So I have about a teaspoon or so of cumin. I have some garlic cloves that I just sliced in half. It's probably about 8 of them. I'm not going to use them all, I don't think, but we'll see. I have some juniper berries here, right? There's about 12 or 13 in there. I have 4 star anise, right? Star anise, I have 4 of those. I like that licorice kind of flavor it gives. Here I have some vinegar, white vinegar, that we're going to be using to baste the pork knuckles. Have some kosher salt. This is probably a good 2 tablespoons worth. And I got about a tablespoon of black pepper. Here I have my pork knuckles, right? And they're about a pound or a pound and a half a piece. And then back here I have my skewers that I'm going to be using to set the skin on the pork knuckle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is start prepping the pork knuckle. Now what we want to do, we just want to poke the skin all around. You want to do this a lot. Right, you're not trying to tear the meat up, you're just trying to poke the skin. Because what that's going to do later is going to give you crispy skin, you see? When you have this, you need to have a nice sharp item to do this with. If you have an ice pick, I would recommend using that. If you have metal skewers, you can use that. But you want a lot of little tiny holes. And please watch your hands. So you don't hurt yourself. Now these pork knuckles, I have washed them. If there was hair on them, I got rid of the hair. And you want to make sure you check your pork knuckles, right? Or your pork, anything, pork. You know, when it has skin on it, to make sure that the hair is off of it. You know, you don't want to give your guests, you know, hairy pig. I mean, come on. Okay? Now what we want to do is at the bottom, see at the bottom, we want to put, just cut into it, make little pockets. and you want to stuff your garlic in the pockets. Right? Get down in there. Now, let's work on our seasonings, our rub. All right, so now we're going to take our salt. Now, you can do this in a mortar and pestle if you want. I just don't have the time right now. Add our pepper. Or you can use a coffee grinder, that'll work too. Juniper berries go in. Our cumin goes in. And our star anise goes in. And now we're going to blend this up. There we go. And this is going to be our rub. Alright, so now what we want to do, we want to take our vinegar, right? And we just want to coat our pork with it. Okay? This has two jobs. One is going to help the seasoning stick. But the more important job is it's going to help tame some of that gamey aroma that might happen. Okay? You know, you won't taste the vinegar. So it'll do its job efficiently. Now what we want to do is take our spices that we blended up. We want to coat. Now the skewers, they've been soaking here for about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. And what you want to do, you got the bone here in the middle. Okay, you want to keep the skewers close to the bone. But what you want to do is go up about 3/4 of an inch, a half inch. Of course, this will be in the way. And poke through. Because what we're trying to do is hold the skin down as it cooks. Now just be careful. You don't want to hurt yourself. Okay, that's one. Now the other guy here, same thing. Mark where the bone's at. Alright, so now these are going to go into the refrigerator. We're going to keep them in there for about 24 hours, uncovered. Okay? Because we want the skin to dry out. That's why we do that. Now, you just saw me fighting that pig skin with a whip in the chair. It is tough. That's some tough skin. Now, sure, I could have boiled it for about 40 minutes, right? To soften it up, then it just would have went through like butter. But that's not what I'm doing, right? I'm trying to eliminate some steps, okay? Well, what's going to happen after about, I don't know, 12 hours or so, I'm just going to rotate it, right, to get some even cooling in the refrigerator, okay? And then tomorrow, we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of this whole deal. So for me, it's going to be 24 hours, but for you, it's going to be like right now. Okay, so next day, time to get this stuff going. So before I lay everything out that we're going to need for the next step, the oven is preheating right now, 350, okay? We're going to cut up the vegetables real quick, and then I'm going to display what we're going to need for this next part. Stand by. So here we have our leeks. We're going to need some leeks here. This is a white part of a large leek. I've washed it. Now what I'm going to do is cut it in half. Cut the white parts in half. I'm going to put them in this water here. Okay? So they can soak and get happy. See it? How it separates there? because leeks, I mean, they can get kind of dirty. So you want to soak them, give them like a second wash after you initially rinse them, and take the bad parts off. So that's what I'm doing. Doing it this way is much easier than just holding it underwater, trying to rinse it all off. Just do it like this. Save you some time. Have our garlic. I've already cut this part in half. And then the other half kind of broke up, but that's fine. So I have a garlic. No need to peel it. We have one onion here that I've cut in half. Now our carrots, we're going to give them a rough chop. Just cutting them. We're not dicing them up. Got some leeks here. We'll just give them a rough chop. You'll see why here once we start going. Now I want to put some celery in here. Okay, again, just rather big pieces of celery. All right, just that easy. Now let me lay it out for you. There we go. We have our onions ready, garlic's ready, celery. And this is about 2 stalks of celery, right? 2 stalks. Carrots, about 2 medium carrots. And this again, the garlic, 1 whole bulb of garlic, just cut in half. Onion, small to medium onion. Leeks, 1 large leek, we're just using the white part. Here we have 2½ cups of beef broth. And we have 12 ounces of, so we're using Guinness. Now what you want to use, you normally would use like a dark German beer, but I couldn't find any that I like, so I went with the Guinness. Guinness is a good substitute. And of course, we have our pork knuckle that's been drying out. The skin's been drying in the refrigerator overnight. So let's put this bad boy together. So now you want to make sure you have a baking dish that is deep enough to hold all your liquids and your vegetables. Okay, so let's put our celery in. Nice and easy. Garlic in. Carrots, not a problem. Our 2 onions go in. Our leeks, get the leeks in there. Now I'm going to add our broth. There we go. Broth is in. All right, beer goes in. There we go. Now you don't want to put your pork knuckles in the broth or in the soup there. You want to sit it on top. So that's why I have this cooling rack on top of our baking sheet, roasting pan, whatever you want to call it. And this goes into the oven. Let's put this in the oven. This goes in. All right, so that's going to go in the oven for about 2 hours, okay? Now about the halfway mark, we're just going to spin it around, right, so we get some even cooking. Now, the liquid that's in the pan is going to steam up, right, to help keep the meat moist and juicy without making the skin all moist. So that way we're going to ensure for a crisp skin when it's time to crisp it up, okay? So I'll see you probably at the halfway point. I'll probably show you what it looks like, the halfway point. But yeah, this is going to go in here for 2 hours. And then we're going to use a instant thermometer to check it after the 2 hours. We're looking for about 180, 185-ish, right? Before we can start working on the skin. All right, so the pork has been in for a few minutes, probably about 20 minutes. And as I'm walking back and forth, I'm smelling the aroma, but then something wasn't right, right? I didn't get that earthiness that I wanted. Then it dawned on me. I forgot to add some juniper berries and some bay leaves to our broth that's under the pork. So let me do that right now. So our juniper berries, there's a few of them. Just gonna sprinkle them in. Now our bay leaves, we're gonna have to move this guy, shift it a bit, and add them in. Okay, now this goes back in the oven. All right, it's been an hour. Turn these bad boys around, looking nice. I can see the juice is dripping. Yeah, dripping right into the broth. One more hour, and we'll check them. Okay, what we're going to do now, it's been 2 hours. We're going to check the temp. See how it is. Okay. Check up under here. I don't want to touch the bone. Okay, check this guy. Okay, all right, we're good. Let's get these out of the oven. Now what we're going to do, we're going to transfer our rack of pork to a different baking sheet, see? And we're going to put this back in the oven for a half hour at 500 degrees. So let's start preheating that. Now what I want to do at this point, I want to take the bigger bits of vegetables out. Now I'm going to come back and get some of these because there's some of the vegetables I want, but I'm just doing this right here just to make it easier on myself. Now I want to strain this into a pot. Got my pot here. And we're going to strain this. Be careful, this is hot now. Just came out of the oven. Carefully pour these juices in. Because I strain it mainly so the juniper berries don't fall in there, okay? But some of the leeks, carrots, celery, the garlic, I'm going to use that. So I'm going to be putting some of that back in. Now this goes on the stove, and I'm going to show you what we're going to add to it. Now the oven's just about ready. We have a little bit of vinegar here, and we just want to baste this white vinegar, just baste the outside of the skin. Okay? It's going to help it crisp it up. Alright? Now this is going to go into the 500-degree oven for a half hour. And at the halfway point, we're just going to turn it so it heats evenly. Alright, now for the gravy, we have about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and another half cup of beef broth. You could use water if you want to, but let's get this in here. Just mixed up. And we're going to add this to our gravy to thicken it up. But before we add it, we're going to let the gravy simmer for about 5 minutes. All right, it's 500 degrees. These go in. And for 30 minutes, and here in about 15 minutes, we're gonna turn them for the remaining 15. All right, now I'm gonna spin this guy around. Yep, I hear some crackling. Give it a little spin. Let you guys get a little look. Can you see that? Yep, a little spin. Right back in. 15 more minutes. See how they look? Oh yeah. Like this one. Nice and crispy. I mean, they're both crispy, but I want it more bubbling, but you know, you work with what you got. All right, so we're gonna set these to the side, let these rest while we finish off the gravy. So let's do that now. So now with our cornstarch slurry here, I'm also gonna add about 2 teaspoons of sugar, right, to the gravy. It's gonna be nice. Let's get to it. We're gonna turn our broth down to low to medium low. We're going to take our fine strainer and get those vegetables out that we saved from before. They've done their job. We don't need them. You know, these fine strainers are awesome because they'll even collect fat that's on the top of your broth. Just a little tip. Make sure I get everything. All right, there we go. Now let's add our sugar. And sugar in there. Mix it up, dissolve the sugar. Now we're going to add our cornstarch slurry. Right? Mix that in. Now let this come up to boil. We're going to let this simmer for about 5 minutes. Let me put the lid back on here. Medium low, and we'll be back when it's ready. All right, mix this up, thickening nicely. Get my tasting chopsticks. See what we're working with. Oh yeah, this will work. Let's plate up. All right, so we got some sauerkraut here. Got some extra gravy. Let's get this plated up. Let's get some mashed potatoes on here. All right. Get our shank on here, or our pork knuckle. I'm gonna turn it this way, just because. Let's get some sauce on this bad boy. A little sauce right on the potatoes, with a little drip action. Not much, because you have extra. Okay, clean this up. Yeah, this is gonna work. Oh yeah, that was hot. Okay, let's see what we got. There you have it. Crispy roasted Schweinshaxe. Oh yeah, it's crispy roasted pork knuckle. That's what we're doing. Nice German recipe. Here on the left, we got a little bit of sauerkraut there. You know I'm going to enjoy that. Extra beer gravy. Yes. Yeah, the gravy is beer gravy. You saw how I made it. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Hey, like the video. Share me out if you can. Hey, if you're not subscribed, hey, join the peanut gallery. You know our arms are open, and we'll leave the light on for you. Also, if we're not connected on Instagram, put my name in Instagram, look for the gray cat, let's connect. That being said, this Shrashira, I'm out because I'm about to eat, and I'm going to eat quite nicely. Oktoberfest.